good morning. It's the longest relationship of your life. You spend more time with them than you do with your mother, your father, your husband, or your wife. But what do you do if you can't stand your twin? Does being a twin drive you mad? Does it drive you mad, Nicola? Do you like being a twin?
No, I hate it.
Why?
I just do not like being a twin.
What don't you like about it?
That there's two of us and I can't be my own person.
Why can't you be your own person?
Because people are always asking me, where's Gemma? What's Gemma doing? And it just really annoys me. I want to be an individual, not be known as a twin.
And well, aren't you an individual?
Yeah, but people don't realise that. People think I'm one of the twins, one of the twinnies, and that annoys me so much. It really just winds me up.
Completely different relationship where we just sort of
do everything together, love being together.
Everything?
Almost everything. Almost everything. And
Why are you holding hands? Oh, moral support. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, you're on their side, are you? Yes, yes, yes. Can you understand what she's saying? She hates it. She doesn't want to be a twin. She doesn't want to be part of it. And you two, you're still joined together, almost.
We have like a completely different
relationship. Yeah, that's interesting. Look at the gap. There is. There's a gap.
I couldn't sit as close. I couldn't sit as close, no.
Why? Oh, go on, try.
Because people...
Hold hands.
No.
Why not?
I'll touch him.
Is it that bad?
On the train this morning, we sat with our backs to each other.
Oh. Why?
Cruel, Ken.
Gemma, how do you feel about... Is this both of you, or is it just her?
A bit more her, but in some things I do agree with her. If we were to face into each other, we'd start arguing. Yeah. It's best not to even start. Yeah.
Have you always been like that?
I think as far as we can remember, yeah.
And does she always speak first?
Yeah.
We don't really argue.
No?
No, not at all.
We live together and we get on. We do everything together.
Everything together.
Why?
Because it's so much faster, so much
You know,
easier.
on the weekends she goes to stay at her boyfriend's, and I have my own room at her boyfriend's house. So when I want to go over there, I can.
Well, you go with us to the boyfriends too.
Yeah, she stays.
Yeah.
I stay the weekend.
Can you understand this?
No, I can't.
You can't. Why?
Have you got a boyfriend as well?
Yeah. Oh, I had to dump my last one last month because she didn't like him.
Oh. He had to go.
So
Why
he
did you
had
have to go?
He
Because
thought I spent too much time looking after my sister and doing things for her.
What kind of things are you doing?
Like just general everyday things, you know?
Such as?
Such as going to college with her, you know?
Yeah.
Going out for coffee with her.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Isn't it-
I was just going to say that's normal.
Is it?
That's normal.
Well, sit there like this, holding each other's hands like this. I mean, there's one holding the other's hand, the other hand, they're very close. Were you like this?
Well, we didn't hold hands, did we? No.
They walked in here. I watched them walking in, holding hands. They walked all the way in.
Holding hands.
You walk everywhere holding hands. How old are you two?
22.
22. They're both the same age as well. How about that? Didn't you ever row?
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
You obviously did row because she told you to get rid of your boyfriend.
We didn't really row. I
talked about
I accept that he was not...
What, she said get rid of him and you said okay?
I didn't think he was good enough for her.
Well, you sound
voiced
like a
my
mother.
opinion. No, I had to look after her though. We look after each other.
Yeah, and you said he's not good enough for you. And you
absolutely
said,
not.
I agree.
You agree.
Okay, fine.
and what if you didn't agree?
It
That wouldn't happen.
Why?
Because...
We think alike, we do everything alike.
Well, in that
Like
case, why did you get with him in the first place?
Because I was going through a bad phase.
It was a situation.
You see, there's a breakdown there, wasn't it? It doesn't always work. This closeness, this intimacy, this kind of telepathy you two have doesn't always work because you made a mistake. You got the wrong man.
But I accept I made a mistake. She made me realise the error of my ways.
So she's more bright than you.
No, because she's made many mistakes as well.
Do you ever argue?
Oh yes, on holiday we do.
What?
We can hardly last the whole week without an argument.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you like being twins?
Yes and no.
What's the no part of it?
Well, we have got a close bond, but just when we have arguments.
What do you argue over?
Can't really say, can we? It's just silly things.
What kind of things?
Well, when we're on holiday, I like to go to the pubs and to clubs, but Julie's not too keen on sort of that sort of life.
Yeah. So you argue about it?
Yes.
She doesn't tell you to get rid of your boyfriend. Your husband. You've never had. You said there's a special bond.
There definitely is.
There is a special bond
between us.
Is there a special bond, Pat, Betty, between you, between
Oh, yeah,
twins? Is there
yes,
something
yes.
special between?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, sitting there.
Yes.
Oh, is that the third
Holding
twin?
the
That's the third one, is it?
Something
That's
to
the middle
share.
one.
Yeah, we both share this.
I mean, I can't kind of just walk past and pretend it's not there, can I? Whatever it is. What's going on here?
Well, this is our pantomime cow that we bought when we were 60.
Why?
Because we were 60 and we thought, let's do something silly. And we
we
saw
did.
it looking at us. Let's
We
buy
bought it.
And you bought it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you get into it?
Oh, yes.
And you go
We
round
perform. Yes, we perform.
demonstrating. We've got
Yeah.
pictures of you performing this. But is this part of what you say? Look at them.
Well, we like to say... Oh, dear.
What's this special bond between you then?
It's just there.
Yeah.
It's difficult to, you know, to say what a special bond is.
Explain it to me.
We can't. Well, there's always somebody there.
Yes.
And at every stage of your development, you've got somebody. Mind you, it might not work.
That's
I
exactly
do
what
agree.
happened.
I
Exactly
do
what-
agree.
yeah.
I do agree
Go on,
with you.
Sheila.
There's something there.
Somebody's there.
Even though they say they hate each
I
other,
do agree. There's
if
something
there's
there.
something
There must
going
be.
wrong, they know. I bet
Yeah.
you know that there's going to always be
drives
someone
me.
there. It doesn't
But
matter how
there
much
is
you hate each other. If something
Yeah.
goes wrong, you've got
Yeah.
someone there. There's
I
always someone
totally
there.
agree with that.
And when you go into new situations, like when we went to university, everybody was going out of the way to be really friendly to everybody, and we sort of didn't have to bother because we had
Yes,
each other.
yes, that's it.
You've always
You
got
don't
somebody,
need
and it doesn't matter if people want to be friendly, they can, and at school as well.
Yes.
Although at our first school it wasn't the norm, there was 8 sets of twins, so it wasn't unusual being a twin. But it didn't matter, we didn't have to make a real effort to other people because we always had each other.
You depend upon each
We
other.
were well,
in certain
Yes,
respects,
in a
probably.
way.
I think I depend on her, and she thinks she depends on me.
What's the
So
truth?
I suppose.
well, we both disagree on that.
Oh, so you have frictions too, do you?
No, because we just choose, we don't mind disagreeing and
An
go
argument will
along
be
with it.
forgotten 2 seconds later, and people will say,
Yeah.
"Well, you just argued, and it's under the
But-
bridge and gone."
But when you say this bond, explain it to me. You say you were for school, you just got on well together, or was it
We
more
did,
than
but
that?
we
And
were
university.
we were one of 5 brothers and sisters, and our relationship was totally different with each other than it was with our other brothers and sisters.
We do love our other brothers and sisters,
but it's totally different.
different.
But we went to university, did the same subjects.
We did the same, got the same results in O levels, A levels, the same degree.
Where you copied each other's
Yeah.
papers.
No.
I'm actually
Well, you
positive.
get exactly the same results.
We did, yeah.
Oh, that's because you revised together and you sat together and you both memorised the same stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's it.
No,
No,
actually,
because we said as up to 18 years old, our life together was mixed. I don't know what I did and she doesn't know what she did. We're confused ourselves as to. We say, do you remember
did
when you
what?
did that on the beach? And you say, well, that was me, and we don't
We
know.
don't know
Up
which
until
one
the
it
age of
is at all.
18, we
were
haven't a clue.
independent
But as
at
soon
all.
as we went to university, she got a boyfriend. And although
Didn't
we
you
lived
have
next door
boyfriends
to each
till you were
other,
18?
well, yes, I'd met my boyfriend all that time.
You hadn't got a clue what was
No
happening up till
husband.
then.
And we swapped a few times, it was good.
Did you?
Yes.
That was really good fun. I had a boyfriend who
Oh,
was
well,
totally
hang on.
interested.
Yeah, go on.
Very good. Totally interested in motorbikes, and I was fed up of him ignoring me. So Sheila put my clothes on and stood next to him for half an hour, and he didn't notice we'd swap. He didn't talk at all. So then it was my turn to swap with her, which was much more fun because Jed's her now husband, met me at the door and gave me the biggest.
He knew. I'm absolutely positive he knew.
At which point she dragged me off and said that he knew, but he didn't know.
And you let him?
He didn't know.
Yeah,
It was quite good actually.
Shush. How disloyal.
Yeah, well, that's what I feel.
How many times have you done that when you
No,
swapped?
just once. Although she does ring him up and pretend to be me and gets them all going, and I get home and I think, what the hell's he doing?
Well, she does that now.
yeah.
And let
Our
him
voices
think
are
he's
the
onto a
same.
dead cert, and then she comes home and she's really knocked.
Because it's
You kind of wind this fella up saying, come home, I'm waiting for you, darling.
well,
and then he comes home and I think,
So he drops everything in the office and thinks, God, this is great, and runs home, and you're all kind of flustered and flustered. You slap him.
That's a bit more.
Very nice.
She deserves it.
no, I think, what the hell's he coming home at this time for?
What time did he come home then? When he did that, what
No,
time?
I think we
in
should
the
drop this
afternoon?
conversation.
I I know, you do right to finish, yes.
Yeah.
But, so obviously he knows what, that's kind of normal, that you often do ring him up and say, come home in the
cutting on,
afternoon.
but even though they know, neither husband or even our family cannot tell the difference between us on the phone. They don't know.
Did you do this with fellas?
No, they can't with us. No. We did it once with fellas, didn't we?
Yes.
But you see, we giggle. We give ourselves away. We just laugh.
What did you do with the fellas?
Just walked along. It was in the blackout.
What, you pretended to...
But, well, they couldn't tell the difference in our voices either, so we just started answering, you know.
Did you ever do that sometimes? When, say, you were with one fella and you kind of... And he was really nice, like this one here, perhaps he's like Dave's. He's a nice young man, and you kind of... And he was very tasty, or whatever you would call it, and then you got a bit fed up of him, and you passed him on to your sister without him knowing.
No, because even though we had separate boyfriends...
Once, I heard her say once. She said once.
Once we went on a blind date, and one boy turned up. We were only about, what, 14, on the back row of the cinema. And just one boy turned up.
In the 1 and 10s.
So we sat there, and I think he must have preferred me. I'm not being nasty. No. They all preferred you for some reason. Anyway, suddenly...
They what? They all preferred
me. I always got the nicest looking man, but it doesn't say that they were any better than what she got. Anyway, but we sat there... like the same one.
You both like the same one?
We sat there on the back row, and he suddenly said to me, this boy said, can I hold your hand, Betty? And I said, yes, if you'll hold Pat's. We sat like that, the poor devil. Sat holding... Well, I knew where his hands were that night.
but he thought he was in heaven.
Yeah, probably did.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he did in those days. That was it.
I remember once my husband was it. I don't know. Actually, we weren't married, but Jed was taking Sheila to the pictures to see a really silly film called Squirm about horrible worms, and I did actually wind Sheila up quite a bit. Playing up to Jed, which I shouldn't have done.
Really, and
she's married to him now. She's married
too,
now.
Yes, we did.
Double
and you did?
48 years ago.
Now, that's going a bit far, isn't it? Because that's not necessary, is it?
It's money. Financially. Your dad was too tight to pay for 2 weddings.
But did she marry because you got married?
No.
I worried that was the case. I was very worried that was the case.
She thought that, but no, I'd been going out with him for 3 years, and I was graduating.
What, she copied you like?
Well, I always wondered at the back of my mind.
She still thinks that today, but it's...
No, I don't. No, I don't know. No. Because we've been together 20 years and it's all...
Yeah. Did you think that Betty copied you, Pat?
No, because we'd been going out with them. They were friends for 8 years, so it was about time we got married.
Oh, right.
And we both got married on the same day because our parents had died a few while away. Yes, so it was a double wedding.
Yeah. You two, look at this. I mean, look at this. It's not just holding hands, double hands. I was just about to say, you two hold hands. Do you do what these two do? Pat and Betty at the pictures, do you say to the boyfriend, he's one of them? No. No, what do you mean no?
He's our best friend.
He's your best friend. Doesn't he ever have to sit in the middle and hold both your hands?
Usually, yeah.
Oh, he does? So you do the same as those two?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah? It's a real pain, isn't it? It must be a real pain. Yeah, I mean, it gets on your nerves, doesn't it?
Sometimes
yeah, I bet. They're all saying there's a special bond. Is there a special bond?
No, there's nothing between us.
What a shame.
We're more like friends than we're more like sisters than we are twins. And people often think we're friends, and then they find out we're twins, and they get quite shocked. But I wouldn't be her friend.
So you wouldn't be?
I wouldn't be her friend if I wasn't her twin.
Why?
Her sister. I don't know. I just wouldn't. We just don't get on. We just don't get on.
What, you don't like her?
No.
No.
Because we're with each other all the time, every day.
I think a lot of twins are different in that because they've got a special bond. They're different people separately. If you go out separately, you're a different person when you go out with your twin. I mean, a lot of people don't ask us out together because they say we're too much, we're too loud.
No,
they ask us separately.
That's the thing. Whenever we go, if her friend asks Jessica, she goes, "Oh, does Vanessa want to come?" And because she feels she has to ask me, so in case I feel get hurt. Yeah. I don't like that.
How can you possibly be?
I think it's for me to know the difference.
Sorry. How can you possibly, be twins and not like each other? I mean, it's unbelievable, really.
I mean, we love each other. Because we're sisters, we're twins, but I wouldn't.
If you don't get on with her, I mean, who's your best friend? You know, again. Best friend. I mean, how can you sort of console with your best friend when you've got one there that you know won't possibly sort of
I never tell her my problems, though. I never tell her.
I find
You're not twins, are you, by the way? No. I mean, you just happen to kind of pitch up in the studio this morning, dressed like, what are you, two Elvises or what? I'm going to do a programme on Elvis. Do you want to come on?
Come on. Would you love to? We was hoping.
I bet you do a bit of Elvis.
We was hoping we could sing a bit of Elvis today, but we sing anything.
We've got a little thing.
Well, we wrote a song for you, but we haven't got the music to it. We'll bring it next time we come.
Sing it live. We sing it live.
That's when we finish at the end of it.
We do it at the end.
Like to stay.
Gotta go.
We hope you all enjoy the show. Goodbye.
Kilroy.
That's right. We just wrote it all the way down. We hope we're back again. If so, we'll see you then. But now we really gotta say goodbye.
Thanks for the message. Thanks for the claps.
Hope you think he's a lovely chap. Goodbye. Goodbye. We hope we're back again. If so, we'll see you then. But now we really gotta say goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Bye. Now we gotta say goodbye. Goodbye. Would you like to? Is that an offer to come on as Elvis Presley? No, it wasn't.
You don't ring us. We'll ring you. Have you heard that before? You heard that? I know. I thought
he has.
Shut up, you two.
He has, but I haven't.
Linda, I am really embarrassed, Linda.
I'm very sorry.
And I'm not related to them. I mean, you're their wife.
I know.
Their wife. Their wife. Well,
I feel like I'm married to both of them, but...
I mean, I wish I'd never raised Elvis. No, I didn't know you were going to sing. I didn't even know anything about the song. I don't think you two knew either. But it was very good, fellas. And do you know, I've completely forgotten what I was going to talk about with you. Can you remind me, what was I going to talk about? We were talking about special bonds.
Yes.
Bit of aggro here because they don't like each other.
You
two were doing the bit. You fall out, do you?
We do fall out, but the point is, at the end of the day, we walk down the road again. And certainly, if she's got has a really serious problem, how can you possibly talk to me, who's a stranger, or even the twins over there? You've got to talk to your own twin because she would listen to you and she would understand it. She wouldn't repeat it to anybody else. So you can't possibly hate your twin.
Yeah, I can't.
There's no way anybody can hate
I don't believe her. I don't believe her.
Go on, you got the mic.
I do. I see what you mean. Like, I will go to her at the end of the day if something like that. It's just little things we don't really hate each other.
You've got to give her the mic if you're going to talk to her. Put it under her mouth.
We don't hate each other, but we just don't get on.
Yeah, but you try splitting up for a couple of weeks, you know, like we do. We split up for a few months.
You get on,
we have to ring up. I mean, I have to ring up. It's like losing an arm.
It's emptiness, isn't it? It's emptiness.
Once you get the family, he's got this boy here is his son. This David. I always say.
This boy is his son. That's your nephew.
Yeah, I always say. Well, I always say he's my son. He says he's his son. We're not really sure.
All his kids are my kids.
He's my son. I always say, is it my son? He looks more like me than him, I think.
Do you always talk over each other?
Well, no, we don't now so much because we're older. We can hold it off a bit now. So we're not too bad. But I would be saying the same thing, and he holds himself together now. But I always be saying, "Hello, how are you?" He'd be saying it quickly, which is annoying. So we've
you've told him off, like you've kept him in check.
We've talked about it, and we've tried it, and he holds back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when he knows he's going to say the same.
Where you're taking the lead.
So he's trying to let me have a bit of lead, but he thinks he's the boss. But I let him be the boss. You do the same.
Are you the leader? Who's the leader?
He's the leader.
I think I am. Yeah, I think I am. I don't know if I am or not. I can't just since we sort of split up a little bit, because Linda dragged me a couple of hundred miles.
Well, I had to in the end. I had to get away.
So we still see each other.
We couldn't live our life, you know. We had to move away, otherwise, because they're always together.
Let me come to that. We're going to come to that. But just do the leader bit first. These two talk over each other. You did a bit of it. You choose the leader. You're the dominant.
These two are worse.
No, I think she is. No, she's the dominant one.
I'm sure she is.
No, she is.
She got married first. You copied her.
No, she didn't. We had
double wedding.
We had a double wedding. No, I didn't copy her.
Yeah, you did.
She just happened to meet her husband before I met mine.
You went out and got one as soon as you knew she'd got one.
I was just very picky and made sure I got the right one.
Oh, you
I just took the first one that came along.
Right. So you're the more dominant one. He's the Danny. Danny's the more dominant one.
No, he used to be.
It's at one time.
It's you though, Betty, isn't it?
Yes.
Who's in the front of the horse?
Me.
Oh well. I think that says it all.
It's a bit of each. It just depends what the situation is.
Are you aware that? Yeah, go on. Who's the dominant one?
Say about one being dominant earlier. I
Yes, I
find that with Zoe and I.
Yes.
Zoe was earlier, but now I find I'm probably a little bit more in some ways.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that's happening?
Well, perhaps I've matured later.
What, did you
maybe.
resent her being the boss?
No, I was happy for her to do that.
To take the lead?
Yeah. I think probably it's because there's such a big difference in our heights. When we were born, Judy only weighed 3 pounds, I was 8 3/4, but we are actually identical twins.
Yeah.
So I think
negatives to prove it.
Like the negative, we can't see the negatives, but we have them on the picture, I hope. But, so you're the oldest?
10 minutes, yeah.
Are you the oldest?
Yes.
Who's the oldest? Danny?
I'm an hour older than Dave.
Are you the which one of you two's the oldest?
I'm older.
Are you the boss?
Yeah.
No?
Not really.
We're the
dominant
same.
in different areas.
In what areas?
So it equals out.
In what areas is dominant?
Depends when you have to take something in hand and get something done.
You're the boss.
Well, one's
You
down.
take charge.
No,
When one of us is down, the other one's up and taking the lead. And
Who's the boss?
You can't tell. They're
Really?
both, yeah,
So
they're
not,
both-
no. But in the main, yeah, there is a boss, there is a dominant one, and you're saying that it tends to be the one that was born first. We were talking, weren't we, Linda, about how you pull these fellas away from each other. What's it? Where does the wife fit into all this? On the edge of the seat, by the looks of it, falling off. Yes. He, by the way, has masses of room, that end.
No, that was 'cause
Where does the wife fit into all of this?
Quickly, when I met
Take the time.
Danny,
I want to hear it all.
Yeah, when I met Danny, they were together, and I just fell for Danny, and I didn't realise, because I've never met a twin before, you know, I'd never got involved with twins, and as the time went by, you know, I realised that I was taking on Dave as well, so, you know, they're always seeing each other every day, and so I had to accept it.
How long have you been married?
We've been married over 20 years now.
So you've been married to them both, really?
Well, yeah, but all the time, we were living in the same town or nearby, so they're always together.
You've got a wife?
Yeah.
You got a wife?
Yeah.
But they just want to be...
Well, I've split him up from her a few times. It's just one of those
Yeah,
things.
but
What do you mean you split her up?
He comes to me and, of course, we sort of, I don't know what it is, to freeze a crowd, two's company.
No, I'll tell you what it is. I can tell you what.
Well, who's the crew's the two's company? You two, or you and your wife? Wait a minute, his wife.
No.
Who is it?
Well, it depends, because you see, like you're talking about the boss.
No, it don't depend. That's your wife.
Yeah, I know, but the wife, obviously, wife and family does come first. It depends what category it is. It depends what the situation is. Same as you. It's a situation you get in. Well, if she was wrong, or I thought she was wrong at the time, I wouldn't stand up.
In the mirror, you get a problem. So you get a problem. You must get problems in your job. Well, if you could look, hang on. Please, hang on, just a minute. You'll never get a true answer. You'll never get a true answer from anybody
from me or these
around.
people.
You'll only get a true answer from yourself. So if you looked in the mirror, yeah.
And then
My wife would tell me the truth.
Well, your wife would tell you.
Yeah, but she'd give you the best that she
Well,
can. But if you looked in the
No,
mirror,
she'd tell me the truth.
if you looked in the mirror, right, and you says, oh, I don't know, what we're going to do about this problem we're going to do.
Despair.
And the mirror answered you and gave you the answers, and then you worked it out. You could say, well, I don't think I should do that. Well, that's what it's like being a twin.
It is.
You can do that with a mate, but a lot of friends would say, I say do this because it'll cause a little bit... You understand what I mean?
No, as much as you say you hate your sister...
They say no. They're saying no to what you're saying.
When it's wrong, you're definitely right, because, as I say, if you get in a situation where you wasn't... just say, for instance, Mr. Kilroy here was really down in something. Well, he turned to his wife. You just said that. Yeah. But imagine now that with me, or Dave's really down, he's come down. I cheer him up. I say, never mind about that. We'll get over it. So
she'd bring her down even more. She'd bring her down even more.
No, you bring her down more. Then there's something wrong there. You want to think about that. I can't work.
I'll give it in a nutshell.
If she told you something. Would you tell anybody else a secret?
Yeah, that's it. We share a best friend.
Then you'll have to sever. Let me ask you that's all right. Every twins do. This is where the problem comes in.
I found out Gemma's problem through my best friend. My best friend will say, oh, Gemma said this, something's wrong with her.
So you've got the same best friend again.
I'm the last person
This is weird, isn't it?
If somebody said that you're better,
No, me and him, when we was... Just let me cut you up a minute now. When we was, first of all, before we got too involved with women, when we went out with women, it was, you know, I don't like her. I said, well, I like mine or whatever.
So I finished up with the...
He'd drag, so I'm off now, so we'd leave the pair of them. But if they were set, I don't know, we never got involved with twins.
We used to, you know what?
Just a second.
Listen, we used to toss a coin, said it was two, there's always one, you always get one that's nice.
To keep him there, we had to toss a coin. It was a double-headed problem.
Always, yeah.
We should make
You're the actual archetypal, don't fancy yours.
No, it's true, you toss it, no, do you know what?
If you're in one car, you can't walk, can you?
Listen, for 9 years...
I've had enough of you two, shut up. I've had enough. I've had enough. Have you had enough?
On the way here, I was sat in the middle of them in the taxi.
Oh, Don, I'm getting a headache already.
I know.
They're giving me a headache.
Yeah.
You said something about until I broke him up.
Yes.
Until he used to interfere, you said. He used to interfere, Danny, in your marriage.
Yeah, Dave does interfere.
I let that go, but I hadn't missed it.
Catch on things. If say I slipped up, like you say,
no,
like
in your marriage.
Interfering
in your marriage.
Yeah, well,
all right, shut up.
If I
Now,
was
Linda, let Linda talk. Let Linda talk. Go on, let Linda. Go on, Linda.
Dave would.
Linda, shut up. Linda, go on.
Yes, when we got married, I actually got a photograph of Dave, you know, actually cutting the cake.
You've got it there, I think.
You know, even on our wedding.
What? He cut the cake,
cutting
not
the
your
cake.
husband.
Even when you're supposed to have a photograph together of both of you.
Oh, you had a photograph of those two?
There somewhere.
Yes.
All right, we'll get it. We'll get it. We'll find it.
Anyway, you know, I might have known that should have been the start of it, because it just went on from there. But it's not just because we've been married over 20 years. It's just the same.
Give me some examples.
Well, you know, we're trying to have a nice meal or something like that. A nice, you know, on our anniversary. Just sat down, got all the candles out, everything's nice, and who should walk in but Dave? There he is, and he just spoils it. You know, he just wants to be there all the time. Or,
that has caused problems between you.
Well, it is because the only way is for us to have moved away, which is unusual for twins, because they have to.
You've done that for that reason.
So we've moved 200 miles away because we can't get on.
Well, no, I did find. Fortunately, I'm sort of booked up 5 days a week in Eastbourne, and because I can't get out of East, we've been there for 2 years. I've been solidly booked every Wednesday.
What do you do then? What are you, a singer?
I do cabaret. She does the disco. He does the same. Dave copies everything.
But it was so bad. It's all you two, you 4 women over there saying it's all nice and sweet and like. But in a sense, and we've had a laugh, and a lot of fun with these three, and they're nice people. But the fact of the matter is, for Linda, who feels very much the outsider, it was so bad that you had to move 200 miles away. Can you understand all that? That a wife, kind of in a sense, Linda, coming second, but you felt the outsider.
Yes.
Yeah, but everybody feels second with twins.
I feel sorry for Linda. I really do.
Hang on, Dave. Danny, hang on.
I really feel sorry for Linda. I'm getting great vibes off of her. Yes. I think there's 3 in that marriage, and.
Well, no, there's 3 in mine as well. But the thing is, no, listen, everybody.
Has he got a person? Has he got somebody?
Yeah, he said he's 3 in his marriage too.
Well, where is she?
Yes.
Where is she?
She doesn't want to get involved with arguments and so on, does she?
Hold up.
My brother John is married and I'm not. And I have a friend who says that as soon as he comes into the room or I come into the room, nobody else exists.
That's right.
We sometimes it's just half a sentence and he knows what I'm going to talk about, so he answers it before it's finished. And I feel quite sorry for Dorothy at times, which is John's wife, because she must feel rather left out of it. We don't intend to do it, it just happens.
Right.
We disagree, we don't argue, and there is a difference, as you will agree, I hope. And poor old Dot is sort of, did I say the pig in the middle? No, that's the wrong word. But you know what I mean.
The outsider.
The outsider.
It's not the piggy in the middle, is it?
No.
In fact, it's the husband. He's the piggy in the middle.
Yeah.
It's your brother that's the piggy in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, you are, aren't you? You're pulled by your wife and you're pulled by your brother, rightly or wrongly. You kind of have emotional ties to both, and both aren't necessarily pulling you in the same direction. They're pulling you different ways. If it's very similar to Danny and Dave.
Friend of mine, and I didn't realise, and he said, well, as soon as John Tickle, as a matter of fact, which is a name to conjure with when you come to think about it. But,
Johnny Tickle.
John Tickle, yeah. He said that as soon as your brother walks into the room, doesn't matter where you are, in a big gathering or just a small room, nobody else exists.
Is that right?
That's true, yeah.
Do you feel that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Both of you do?
Yeah.
So when he says no...
we do shows as well, like these two gentlemen down here. And when we're rehearsing, it occurred out when we're out in the Middle East in the army, we're doing shows out there. We could be walking along, going to rehearsals, and they split us up and put us into 2 different camps, opposite sides of the road, so they could tell the difference. It's true. And we could then meet on the way to rehearsals, singing the song over and learning the words in our minds, and say hi, and carry on singing the same song at the same
place.
In the same, both of you?
Yeah.
In the same key,
in the same key.
Okay, I'm interested in your wife. What does your wife feel about all this? What does Dot feel?
Well, we were hoping to bring... We were hoping to bring... Sorry, that's all right. We were hoping that she would come today, because then she could put her body...
What would she have said?
But she's a little shy.
Well, she gets all right with both of us, if you see what I mean.
But does she feel that she's the outsider?
I don't think so,
Are you conscious
really.
who are you closest to?
It's difficult. It's difficult to say that, but mainly I suppose to Dot more, because my brother now lives in
Does that
Hove.
upset you?
No, not at all.
No, because you're grown up and
yeah.
Who are you closest to, Dave?
Dave, me?
Yeah.
Me? Well, I'm closest to me brother, my wife and my children.
No, you know what I meant by the question. Now, who are you closest to, your wife or your brother? See, I wouldn't have any hesitation answering that question. No, you wouldn't, would you, my love?
No,
you wouldn't hesitate. You wouldn't have any hesitation, would you? If I asked you who you're closest to, your sister or your husband, who are you going to say?
Well, I haven't got a husband now.
But when you had, it would have been your husband, right?
Yeah.
No equivocation. Hang on. So you can't decide, Dave.
Well, I mean, hang on a minute. Look,
I've decided, but what it is, you not being the twin, really.
You've decided today.
It's a different love.
It's very, very
That's
hard.
for a woman, it's different for... Anybody who loves a man, you know, there's 2 people that love... I love my twin brother because we've gone through as a children hard times.
He's my mum and dad.
And so
I
we
was
know
always
you love him.
You're closest.
I look on him as a son.
They can't answer the question. They can't answer. I mean, the question. Okay, Gemma. Hang on. So we got one. She's closer to her boyfriend. What about you?
It's totally different, because you can be close emotionally and you be close physically.
You understand what we mean?
If I go...
Listen, you're being obtuse, all of you. You know what I mean. All the normal people here. I mean, honestly, don't you have difficulties with... We all know, don't you? You know, if I say who you're closest to, your husband or your sister, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? You'd say straight away, oh, I'm closest to my husband. Of course you would. This lot, I mean...
Do you love your children more than you love your wife?
I'm closer to my wife. No, I love my wife.
No, I'll put another question. I'll put one back to you.
That's not the same.
Can I put a question back to you then? If you've got 3 or 4 children, which one do you love the best?
I love them all the same. I love them all the same. Love them all the same. No favourites in my house. All the same. We love all our kids the same, don't we?
We do
You love
indeed,
all
yes.
your kids the same.
Yes.
You treat them equally, and you got no favourites. Because that's where there's trouble, isn't it? Don't you dare say you've got favourites.
No, I haven't.
You haven't got favourites. Do you treat them as in... You've got twins. Do you treat them as individuals, or do you treat them as twins?
No, I try to treat them individually. They dress separately, differently. They have different names. Unfortunately, they share a bedroom because I live in a 3-bedroom house. They don't go to different playgroup, but purely because I have to take them to the same playgroup. But we try the best to treat them differently. They have their own separate birthday card and birthday cake and birthday presents.
And this is quite a deliberate, conscious policy on your part.
It's not something I get stressed about,
No.
but I just go with the flow and try and treat them differently.
You've made a but you've thought
They're
about it.
2 different people.
Yeah, and you've made a now. Okay, Sheila.
If I would have been annoyed if we all got the same Christmas presents and things. If she's got a Christmas present and I got a different one, what happens if I like hers better than mine? That's why you treat
That happens with all kids.
I know, but doesn't she get...
My daughters are only 2. This is my mum here. With my twin sisters here, who could explain better.
Go on, Mum.
Well, I was just going to say, it's exactly the same. We're a large family. These are the last of our 7.
How do you know they're the last?
Because my husband's hung his boots up.
Oh, right. How should you do that? No, don't tell me, don't tell me.
What I was going to say was that whatever number of children you have, they're still going to argue over the toys. If you know, we don't actually, with our children, whether they're twins or not, we don't try and do exactly the same for each of them. They have to learn during the years that sometimes one gets more than the other, and the next time it'll be the other one's turn. And we did exactly the same with Jessica and Stephanie as we did with our other children. Kate does the same with Laura May and Emma Jane. Joseph, her eldest child, doesn't get upset about it. It's part of learning.
I think if you give the children the choice to be, if they want to be treated as individuals, treat them as individuals. If they don't. But we weren't, and it's not done us any harm, and we're very close as a result.
No, I wouldn't suggest for a minute that it's...
What do the twins want?
What do the twins want? We called us twin, not... We were never known as Gillian and Sheila. We were known as twin or twinny until we were 16, even by our siblings.
Gemma?
When we were at infant school, do you know you have them trays where you have your pencils and stuff in? We got one to share saying twinnies on it, and that was the teachers writing that down. We wanted to be individuals.
It's really terrible. I've got 3-year-old identical twin boys who look exactly the same, everything, but I treat them very differently. They go to playgroup and nursery apart. Everything is apart. They've never ever been called the twins. So they're my boys, and that's
even
it.
now.
It's not a shame. They're just two little boys.
Why is it a shame?
Because they're born as... You see, it is one... When you think of the twins are conceived, they're one person split in half. We are definitely one person.
We're not everybody.
Hang on.
No, there's no doubt about it. Twins are.
One of you time, you boys. Which one? Gone, Danny.
You want the master stroke on it?
Danny. No, Danny. He said Danny.
So you're saying they're depriving them?
They're depriving children of what because they've got something.
I've got identical twin girls, and we do treat them very, very differently. Okay, I have modelled them up occasionally, which is dreadful for a mother to do.
But again, you're making a conscious decision that they're separate, they're individuals.
I mean,
you never refer to the twins.
No, it's
never.
always the girls.
It's always the. Oh, is that nice? It's different, isn't it?
Can I,
Gemma?
decide themselves later on if they want to be exactly the same twins. But while we're young, we're different people. If, like, say, when we're 18 and we want to look exactly the same and dress the same, that's their choice then. But when we're younger, let them try and have different interests.
Let them, but don't force them.
Don't force them. Let them do
But you're not forced. They are forcing in a sense. I don't mean compulsory. But Mom is making the decision. Mom, here's Mom and Grandmom are actually. Yeah, it's your mum, and it's your mum, isn't it? This is your mum. You look very young to be her mum, and she's got twins as well.
Don't say that.
Huh? But you do! But you do! It's not fair, is it? She obviously got married when she was 13, this one. Yeah, all right, 14 then. Both these two made the conscious, clear, rational decision that they were going to treat their twins as individuals. They're not going to dress them alike, they're not going to send them to the same schools, they're not even going to have the same present. They did, not force, but make that decision.
It wasn't...
And they're going to argue with...
dressing them the same, but send them to different schools.
No. We didn't send them to separate schools.
We punishment.
You sent them to separate schools, didn't you?
Same playgroup, but different days, so they made their own friends.
Okay, yeah, gone.
The school did insist that Jessica and Stephanie went into separate classes, and I must admit to not having been happy about that. They were called the twins when they were growing up, and when they were very tiny babies, I did dress them the same because I was so proud that I had twins.
But we lived
they were the cherry on my cake, as it were. But having said that, as they grew up, they became individuals of their own accord, and they did start to choose. One wanted to wear certain colours.
Wherever we are, we're all individuals in the end, even these two down here, and they deserve to be treated equally, but with love, and that's all that matters in the end. Take care of each other. I'm sorry This morning we want guests for two programmes, one about being afraid of growing old, the other about Geoffrey Boycott's claims that he's innocent. Call me now on 0990 200 567 if you're interested in participating in either programme. Firstly, are you scared of growing old? Are you worried about the way you look, being alone, looking after yourself? Are you making sure you enjoy your later years? Secondly, we hope to have Geoffrey Boycott here next week. He says he's innocent of beating his ex-girlfriend. What do you think? Have you been falsely accused of beating a woman? Are you the victim of a violent man? Call now.